Hi there, it's Rita, and today I would like to talk to you about pins. We have a bunch of pins here. We've got way more pins in the back warehouse here, and just wanted to let you know a little bit more about pins because pins are one of those things that people think, oh, a pin is a pin, but it's actually not. There are several different kinds of pins, and you can be using them for the correct application, which maybe you don't know. So that's what I'm going to try and teach you today. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so these are my favorite pins. I use these all the time. As you can see, they are in my little pin dish, my magnetic pin dish, which I love. These pins are like they're button head pins. They are also known as flower head pins. People quite often say that they are flower head pins. Um, the basic reason is because they've got a flat head. So the head is flat. It's easy to grasp. It's really easy to grasp, and that's why I like pins like this. I've got longer nails, and it's easier for me to pick up something that's wider and flatter than it is something like a ballpoint pin. So that's why I have these pins. Also, watch what it says on the package because some of the pins are plastic and some of the pins are a special plastic that are no melt technology, which means they can be nicked by an iron without any problems. So that's what these pins are right here. These pins have the no melt technology and I can nick them with an iron. I can't put my iron right on it, so don't do that. But you can actually just accidentally hit it with an iron. Nothing's going to melt. It's going to be fine. So these are, and they're like kind of like your regular everyday pins. So that's kind of what I use for most of my stuff. Okay. Then we have, you know what, we'll get into the Taylor Seville pins next because the Taylor Seville pins, they actually do some really great marketing. So on all of their pins, so for instance, this one is a silk pin. And they always have a little area right up on the top where they take one pin from the package and they put it out there for display so that you can easily see what that pin looks like without having to look through this here and it's all distorted and you can't really tell. So they are very clear on what kind of pin is in each package. They also label it very clearly. So this is a silk pin. It's a very fine pin, 0.5 millimeters. Silk pins you want to use for anything that is very fine. So obviously like a silk, a satin, something like that where the needle's not going to get caught, where it's not going to make a big hole and rip any fibers or anything like that because you don't want that. Silk pins are very smooth and made specifically for that kind of material. So always get a silk pin if you're working with very fine, delicate fabrics. Okay. So there's, this is also, oh, actually, hold on. We're still going to stay on Taylor Seville. So let's just focus on that. This is an applique pin. So applique pin, again, you can see right here, it's a very small pin. It's a very short pin. It's also quite fine as well. And this is also another type of applique pin here. This one is from Clover. I'm just going to show you. Oh, they're so tiny. See, they're so tiny. You can barely see them. I have a hard time picking them up. So not my favorite pins, but definitely, oh, I was able to pick that one up. Definitely for doing applique. Applique has usually a bunch of small pieces and you have to like sort of add them on and tack them on before you hand stitch them or typically, well, these pins I think are meant basically for hand stitching applique onto your background. So again, very small, very fine pins. And then, we'll do these ones here. Taylor Seville pins. These ones here, they are quilting pins. So you can see that they're quite long and they have a very long shaft. It's very long, quite thick. And this is meant for when you are basting your quilt together. So you've got your bottom layer, your batting, and then your top layer. And you would just put these pins in on top of that. And this is a quilting pin. So you can quilt around them and then pull them out as you get near it. Also quilting pins are these ones here. So these little heart ones. And honestly, you can see that they're about the same length and about the same thickness as well. I bought the the heart pins because they're hearts. And I love hearts. They're so cute. Hearts are my thing. If you know me, you know hearts are my thing. So that's why I have these here. But these are like the quilting pins. And oh, one thing I got to let you know, all of Taylor Seville pins, all of their heads are the no melt plastic technology. So you can nick them with an iron. Every Taylor Seville pin has that in it. So that's always a good thing with those pins. And then last Taylor Seville pin that I'm going to show you here. And these are fork pins. So as you can see, they come like this. So fork pins have two prongs and they have a little nice flat head in between there. So as you can see, nice little flat head. They are also bent a little bit, as you can see right there. I'll just hold it kind of straight and you'll see it's bent. And those are made for quilting. Okay, so when you're a quilter, you typically always iron your or press your seam to one side. You don't typically press it open. You always do it to one side. So then when you are doing opposite sides and you want to sew them together, you have to nest those two seams together. It's called nesting. And this pin is very, very helpful for that. You put this one on each side of the seam and it will hold it in place while you're sewing it, which is great. This way you'll have an exact center and you won't, like for instance, when you're doing a 4-patch, right? You want to have an exact center. You don't want it to be off like a millimeter or two because you'll see that and it'll look wonky and you don't want that, right? So fork pins, get the fork pins. Let's see here. And then we have, these ones are fine pins for patchwork and quilting and applique as well. So these are more of the applique pins. As you can see, they're kind of short here as well. All the applique pins are kind of short because you don't want to like have super long ones and distort your fabric and distort the applique. So that's basically what you're doing there. Then we have your basic run-of-the-mill normal pins here. These are your dressmaker pins. They're just steel plated. There's nothing special about them. They're just straight pins. They're all steel. There's no special head, nothing. Sometimes they're hard to grasp, especially when you have long nails like me, which is why I don't like these. But there's other people that swear by them and love them. So all the power to you. And let's see here. Oh, glass head pins. Okay, so there's some glass head pins like this. And they look like you can differentiate them because they have like a little ball on the end. It looks like that. And you can get some that are plastic as well. And they have a plastic head, but specifically glass head ones, you can use and nick them with an iron. Plastic, you cannot. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you're going to not melt your pins. So read the label of the pins to make sure what you can and cannot do with them. We've got some T-pins here now. So T-pins, they are like a T. See, they're like a T. They come in different sizes. So we've got some that are shorter. I think we might have some that are a little bit longer than this. They're typically pretty thick. You'd use them for upholstery, making cushions, covering a chair. A lot of fabric shops, you will see these pins that are tucked into the bolts of fabric to hold and secure it in place so they don't unravel. That's typically what these T-pins are used for. We've got those. And then we have the specialty pins. So these specialty pins here, I will just make a note here. So they have these little compartments. These are like for quilters and whatnot. And these ones have arrows and letters on them. So I'm just going to show you. So there's some arrows, they're down arrows, and there's some here that's like going to the left or the right. That's all on this side here. And then you just flip it over and you've got these ones here. And you'll see these have numbers on them. So like there's 3, 4, there's 8, they go 1 to 10, basically. And these are good for when you're quilting and you're quilting rows and whatnot. You want to make sure that you're not mixing stuff up because that never happens, right? So we have these special pins for that. And you would take these pins and you would just read your instructions. And then as you go along them, I would just finish, okay, I've done this one here. I'm going to put a 3 there. And I like write a number 3 by your instructions and then take the number 3 pin. When you're completed your rows, then I would put this in there and then you know what it is. And when I say when you've completed your rows, I mean completed cutting, because usually there's cutting instructions and that's where you'd want to put that so that you know this section is for the row 3 and you don't take it when you're on like row 2 or something and you're like, why doesn't this fit? I don't know. So these will really help you out. These are great pins. I love these. So let's see. Got my little cheat sheet here. So I just want to double check that I've got everything here for you that I have talked about. And yeah, it looks like I have, oh wait, there's ballpoint pins. I already talked to you about ballpoint pins. So yeah, looking at my cheat sheet here, it looks like we're all good. We are all good. I hope you learned something here on these pins. There's a whole bunch of different name brands of pins out there. Today, I have just showed you a few. There's there is Dritz, Prim, there's Taylor Seville, there's Clover, there's Boheen. We do have some Singer pins, which aren't on this table, but we have some in the back. There's a whole bunch of different name brands of pins out there, and they all have multifunction uses. So take a look. I mean, you can get your universal pins and just do with them whatever you want. But if you're doing something special, like you're something with silk or something with very fine fabric, you might want to invest in getting just a box of pins to do that with, because it's not a huge investment and it will make all the difference when you're creating your garment. You don't want it to catch a thread and pull it. And so, yeah, get your pins. Use the right pins for the right project. Okay. Well, I hope you've learned something. Let me know in the comments if you have. Let me know as well what your favorite pin is. What's your favorite pin that you use all the time? Love to hear it. Okay. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching.